Welcome viewers to Historical Journeys. Dr. Scott Fledgling has made this sort of disclosure previously. Back in 2018, he stood out as truly newsworthy when he found a clay pomegranate, which highlighted the presence of the Ark of the Pledge Sanctuary. At that point, the Book of Scriptures researcher might have accomplished something amazing. During a dive in Israel, Youngster and his group unearthed 3 relics that he accepts give certain the verifiable precision of the good book. Archaeologists unearth lost city in Israel and find a scriptural mystery in its profundities. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It only takes a second, and you won't miss any of our future videos. Let's get started. This is no occurrence, as Fledgling and his group have been uncovering the old site of Shiloh for quite a long time. As this site is referenced in the Jewish Book of Scriptures, Shiloh shows up in the Book of Joshua and existed during the time of the adjudicators. Youngster feels somewhat doubtful about the significance of his most recent disclosure. Archaeology has moved to the area because of the Bible and other ancient religious texts. In 2019, the academic advised the Jerusalem Post that we ought to acknowledge the Bible's veracity. The purported scriptural classicist is senior member and teacher of paleohistory and church history at the Holy Book Theological College in Katy, Texas. However, his work as an excavationist in search of ancient artifacts all over the world is justified by his position in the Near East Archaeological Society. Shiloh is additionally not the primary archaeological site Fledgling has looked through. In 2005, the teacher examined the Tal El Hammam unearthing project. In the wake of working at that uncovering for quite a long time, Fledgling moved to Khirbet El Magnetar, and in that area, he would have made another scriptural disclosure. Youngster filled in as chief on the Khirbet El Magnetar unearthing from 2010 to 2017. Even better, unearthings at this site would have uncovered the antiquated city of simulated intelligence as portrayed in the Book of Joshua. He proceeded to show goodness, and in an amazing new revelation, Fledgling directed his concentration toward shallow waters in 2017. This appeared to be legit in light of the fact that the still water has for quite some time been an area of archaeological interest, particularly for scriptural researchers. Truth be told, the primary unearthing occurred 100 years back in 1922 in shallow waters. That underlying unearthing was crafted by a gathering from Denmark. It just so happens, a Tel Aviv college teacher named Israel Finkelstein drove a 3-year uncovering nearby, and Finkelstein and his group found a few fascinating curios. Archaeologists found a crowd of bones that date back to the Bronze Age, and albeit the group evidently didn't peruse a lot about the revelation, Youngster accepted it could have more importance. The Tel Aviv group saw the bones just as proof that the Canaanites forfeited little creatures, yet there was likewise a scriptural association for the young. In the 7th section of the book of Leviticus, a young fellow told the Jerusalem Post that the right half of the creature is the cleric's part, which is eaten level. His belief that the Bible is a component of its deeper meaning is supported by this additional piece of evidence. It shows the contrast between what we read in sacred writing and what we see on the planet. He said, "Yet for what reason is the fruitful ground for logical exploration so shallow?" In point of fact, as we mentioned earlier, this city served as a haven for the Israelites between 1200 and 1100 years prior to our own time, and both the tabernacle and the Covenant's Tower of Alpha can be found in ancient locations. For the individuals who don't have the foggiest idea, the sanctuary is a significant piece of Jewish history. Beinam residents are permitted to enter religious institutions on a particular stretch of the road. It is said that God gave Moses 2 stone tablets with 10 regulations composed on them. The stones were then positioned in the ark and safeguarded. Therefore, the tent was the covered ark, and we know that it was shallow in the 1100s BC. The shallow layer itself was as of late. With such an abundance of data and strict substance, it's nothing unexpected that archaeologists are getting back to the site, Fledgling told CBN News in 2019. Because it was the location of the tabernacle, which was where people connected with God, is the first capital of ancient Israel and a holy place. His work piqued the interests of archaeologists. "We manage genuine individuals, genuine spots, and genuine occasions," the kid told CBN. He also mentioned the coins that were on Earth earlier to illustrate this point. "What's more, when we dive into the earth and associate with God and one another, I believe that is vital," he said. Stripling and his team of experts and volunteers eventually discovered many remains. In 2019, a young girl told the Jerusalem Post that the pomegranate is a sacred symbol. The Levites are the only places in Israel where we can find such pomegranates. This is significant on the grounds that, as Youngster told the Jerusalem Post, It implies that the pomegranate is the main blessed food brought before God. In this manner, the eating of youngsters was the principal inspiration of the sanctuary and the sanctuaries. During the 3 years of unearthings, archaeologists likewise found an enormous number of huge asphalts. These huge vessels have been found in places that were once utilized as distribution centers, while in old times there were less locales. A sizable pile of coins and pottery was also discovered by the team of scientists. According to CBN News, Stripling and his team found up to 2,000 pieces of pottery each day. In any case, the main disclosure of the youthful creature occurred in the mid-year of 2019. Scriptural archaeologists accept that this specific revelation is straightforwardly connected with one of the lords of the year 28. In August 2019, Stripling made the surprising claim that his team had discovered something in this article. The excavations of 3 altar horns provided an explanation for the discovery's announcement. The public statement expressed that the altarpiece was essential for the old Israelite ritualistic framework that pre-owned tablets, and said that the workmanship had really meaning. We never anticipated finding the store. Made of creature skin, the decayed shell told the hours of Israel, and the sort of help material found in the uncovering. The prehistorian thought he was on the whole correct to see the establishment. What's in store? At long last, unearthings in Israel have up until this point revealed just 7 comparative raised areas, and despite the fact that there are no remaining parts of the raised area block itself, the horns are basically the same as those found at the Nativity of Sheba. The little kid generally assumed some not entirely set in stone to track down a platform in the hunt. We even expectation that it will look like the elements of the good book. He told the hours of Israel. He told the Jerusalem Post. Assume we found numerous things connected with the strict sanctuary. It is shallow, and that is the manner by which the good book depicts it. Does this indicate that the story in the Bible is true? No. Brilliant additionally said that prehistoric studies has one story and the scriptural story has another. As a matter of fact, referring to that he permitted his unearthings to be directed by the Holy Book, the classicist let the hours of Israel know science. However, it must be noted that religious texts hold a special significance for the young man, demonstrating to the times of Israel that he views the Bible as a serious historical work, and that the book illuminates his work. Indeed, a youngster chose to keep digging the stage and distribute his discoveries. What's more, obviously, he will put together his options with respect to the Book of Scriptures. For instance, the excavator was supposed to be interested about the Iron Age structure the gathering found. This design is predictable with the development referenced in the Holy Book, since it extends from east to west. Stripling also remembers that its northern hill location is important because he expected a permanent tent there, which, to put it mildly, piqued my interest, as the archaeologist confirmed. Youngster even desires to track down a stage that looks at the scriptural depiction of the sanctuary with an internal and external court. Meanwhile, in any case, she refreshed her devotees on the finds at the old website in her January 2020 blog Winter Tracks Down Little Shiloh, portraying what her group was examining, and apparently, they've been extremely occupied. We have now finished our colder time of year test project. Youngster composed. The outcomes are intriguing. At first, his group was utilizing another method called wet sieving to grow the consequences of their huge scope unearthings incredibly. Fledgling did since that. I gauged that 50 to 70% of his little finds, for example, scared creepy crawlies, were missed in past unearthings. What's more, his approach to working appeared to be spreading to different groups. The kid flaunted that his group had proactively fabricated a versatile wet filtering station for a gathering of archaeologists working at the College of Haifa in Israel. Moreover, different gatherings might be keen on embracing this innovation. Stripling has a creative technique that could before long become well known in the removal world. Work is as yet continuous. However, the young lady doesn't appear to be any more joyful with everything going on. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay updated with our latest videos, subscribing is the way to go. Just click that red button below and become a part of our channel family.